Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chicane, where we, your hosts,
Brinley,
and McKenna, put the chic in motorsport
our goal is to bring you the latest paddock pulp, provide in-depth and unique interviews with fans, drivers, and your favorite F1 content creators.
and encourage you to learn more about the sport in a fun and innovative way.
With that, we hope you stick around with this episode today. We're sorry for all of the problems we've had recently with the filming and editing process. We're working on getting back on track, but stick around for this episode.
With that, let's get revving.
Woo!
Okay,
All right.
so
P1s and
first
DNFs.
and foremost, that's what I was going to say. P1s and DNFs.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Sadly, this week I have a couple more DNFs than P1s. First DNF, this freaking process of episodes and stuff. I tried saving episodes, so I spent hours. I kid you not. I went to different locations with better Wi-Fi to try and save that episode because it was so good and it was like a recap of Austin and all the things, and it wouldn't do what I wanted it to. So I apologize for that. So that's a DNF. Another DNF is just social media right now, across everything. Social media across motorsports, politics, all of it. It's really harsh, and I had to hop off of it. So if you don't see me on social media as much this week, then that's why. Um, it's just overwhelming on all accounts. So those are some DNFs. And then P1s, we have some really cool stuff coming up, which we will tease later. We actually also do have a sponsorship now, so that's another thing we'll get into. So just some exciting things for Chicane are happening and gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future of Chicane and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, geez. I don't even know. Hmm. I should have been thinking about this while you were talking. But it is a little bit disappointing that we lost the last episode because you got to talk about your going to your first F1 race and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, my week has just been like pretty nonchalant, like all things kind of, you know, without the whole like thinking about the election. My life has been pretty like right
That's
now.
good. That's good.
Um, and honestly, after Brazil, kind of excited that we get a little bit of a break. I'm like, man,
Yes.
that was so much to digest. I just need a minute to sit back and be like, woo. And I know that like when Vegas comes, this is like not all P1s and DNFs at this point. Um, it means the end.
Hmm.
No more C2. Like, what am I supposed to
No, you
do?
can't make me cry right now, okay, bro?
So many things are leaving. We might not have Calapinto. We're not gonna have our Kick Sauber team like anymore. It's just like so maybe that's a P1 is that we get like I can breathe right now and like process all of this without thinking about another race. Anyways,
Wow.
I don't really have anything that I can think about actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, because I do not want to cry thinking about how many people were leaving and not going to have in the same seats this year. Ugh. Let's talk about Paddock Pulp. There's a couple of things in the motorsports news this week. You said Gabriel is his name? Yes, right? Okay.
Hmm.
I was just making sure I said his name right. But Gabriel Boratello is going to be joining Stake for the 2025 F1 season. He is the F2 reigning champion right now, and he was signed on with Stake, yeah, earlier this week. So he'll be racing alongside Nico Hulkenberg for 2025. So that will be a very new seat pairing. He will be a rookie. So now we have four rookies on the grid confirmed with him, Jack Doohan, Oliver Behrman, and Kimi Antonelli. So that will be exciting. And then Robert Schwartzman will be driving for Prema in IndyCar alongside Callum Elliott. So he used to drive for Prema in F2, right? Yeah, and so now he's leaving F2 to now drive for IndyCar. So they know each other, they're familiar with each other, and it should be a fun pairing for next year. Um, Also, this is actually pretty new, but if you are on social media, you might have seen that quickly after Brazil and everything that happened down at everything that happened on social media, everything all combined, a account was posted named the Grand Prix Drivers Association, shortened to the GPDA, and they sent out a driver misconduct statement in regards and in support of the drivers. I'll just read little blips, but some things that are notable. Um, it says the drivers, our members, are no different from how the sport works. Our members are professional drivers racing in Formula One, the pinnacle of international motorsport. With regards to swearing, there is a difference between swearing intended to insult others and more casual swearing, such as you might use to describe bad weather or indeed an inanimate object, such as a Formula One car in a driving situation. Um, we urge the FIA president to also consider his tone and language when talking to or about our drivers on a public forum. Um, and there was another one. Further, our members are adults. They do not need to be given instructions via the media about matters as trivial as wearing jewelry or underpants. So those are some notable things, and then it says best regards the directors and chairman of the GPDA on behalf of the Grand Prix drivers, racing united for our safety, our sport, and our fans. So this will be a new project going forward. We're still learning about it. Like everybody is still learning about it. There are some talks of the chairmans possibly including Sebastian Vettel, and I think Jensen Button was one of them too. But it has not been like 100% confirmed. So give them a follow on Instagram. I think that there will be some interesting statements and information put out about the project itself. But yeah, that will be interesting moving forward. And then last but certainly not least, we have an interview coming up. So keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, make sure you give a follow to the Grandstand Project on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes. Especially in time for Vegas.
Especially in time for Vegas, yes.
So, as we kind of hinted at earlier, I guess, or you may have seen on our Instagram, we are now sponsored by DR3 Creations. So, this episode is sponsored by DR3 Creations. They have premium motorsport inspired merch for all kinds of racing fans. Their lineup includes everything from unique keychains, tote bags, to collectible stickers, and as a Chicane listener, you, yes you, get 15% off.
Mm-hmm.
Use the code Chicane15 or head over to the link in our description of this episode and use Chicane15 at checkout to join the DR3 community and get some fresh new racing gear.
Mm-hmm.
They have the cutest stuff, and it's way more than just Formula One. It's IndyCar, it's NASCAR.
Yeah.
You can find whatever you're looking for.
Yeah. I was showing some of our products that I have already through while she was talking. I am such a tote bag lover, guys. Like, I genuinely collect tote bags, and McKenna can vouch for that. I have like around 20. And this one is by far my favorite. Like, look how cute it is. I thought about coloring it in too, like the urge is so strong. But that's my favorite tote bag. And then as she was talking about like stickers and stuff, they also have bookmarks, and this is a Lando McLaren bookmark, and I have not stopped using it because I'm a reader and I love being able to use that, and it kind of just puts my passions all together. So yeah, I'm excited for this partnership. I know we all are. And yeah, so make sure you use that discount code at checkout.
Yeah. So I just left to go get my baby
Hmm.
and then came back. And as I was walking back, I was looking at all the animals because we live on like a little homestead. And I was just thinking about how much Formula One has infiltrated my life.
Hmm.
That two of my sister-in-laws who don't watch Formula One, I, one of them has named their dog Ferrari, and the other one, literally this past week, got a kitten who's a boy, and I got her to name her kitten Fittipaldi, which is Emerson Fittipaldi, the Brazilian driver who's, I think he has two world championships.
Hmm.
And you actually probably saw him at the Brazilian Grand Prix. He was handing out pole position, no, sprint win
Mm.
awards. So there are animals here who have Formula One related names and were named by people who don't even watch Formula One. So,
Ferrari.
yeah.
She got a cat
For
and I tried to name it wait, what was it? Perastri or something like that?
Os,
Yeah, I said
yeah,
Perastri or something.
Parastri.
Perastri. I like yours
Os,
though.
Osk Cat Parastri.
Oscat. He just gives cat energy. Like it's perfect. Also, I had a Lando Norris dog fan page follow me. They named their dogs after Lando Norris. It's their dog is named Norris, and they say in the bio, not Chuck Norris. This is named after McLaren driver Lando Norris. And they've just got this cute little puppy, and they just post pictures about the puppy, and I was like, this is so sweet. I love this.
There is so many things to talk about for Brazil that I don't even know where to start. One second. Ugh, I don't even know literally where to start. This race weekend was absolutely insane. On the edge of my seat all weekend. I I was sad.
Yeah.
I can say that. Um, yeah. How did you feel about the weekend, like overall in general? What's your like
Um,
kind of thoughts?
chaotic is a great word. The whole weekend itself was just so unpredictable, which I always do love. That's one of the reasons I love Spa. Like Spa, it's always raining. We never know what's gonna happen. I like that. I felt like there were times during the whole race weekend where the conditions were so bad that there should have been something to like help it, maybe like earlier red flag or I don't know, but because you couldn't even see the drivers on our TV. Like you couldn't see the cars on our TV at some points, and people there that were in the grandstands were saying they couldn't even see the cars on the track most of the race because of how heavy the rain was.
Mhm.
And then you have drivers themselves um, who are in the car on the radio worrying about their own safety and stuff. So I think nerve wracking is another good one. Overall, the weekend was surprising, and I think that it's just Formula One. Like, you
Yeah.
never know what's going to happen, and that brings the excitement to the sport.
I feel like I would also add the word historic in there.
Oh, yeah.
Just with like, it's so rare that we
Mm-hmm.
get a qualifying and race the same day. So
Mm-hmm.
like the Alpine, I don't want to talk about it too much because we're gonna like get into it more. But like, there's so many things that
Oh,
happen that are just gonna be like we're gonna be talking about for a really long time.
oh, yeah.
And
100%.
yeah. Anyways, let's just hop right into the everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Where should we start? Should we start, I guess, with the sprint race?
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay. Um, I don't really remember what happened in qualifying, so I can't really comment on that at
I
all.
was gonna say I wasn't even awake because it was
Um,
like 5 for us or something.
yeah. Oh, wait, no, hold on. This is making me remember about the whole issue with the FIA this weekend,
Oh,
with this starting with the sprint race.
okay.
Because I'm I'm not going to be out here and be a conspiracy theorist and say McLaren has made a deal with the FIA or the FIA has decided that Lando is going to be the world champion for this year and therefore they're constructing it and making it happen. I'm not going to go as far to say that, but I will say you make way more money when more people watch your races, and more people watch your races when your title fight is decided at Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to keep their title fight. And so they did a couple things this weekend that were a little bit sketchy. This is not on Lando or McLaren at all. Again, I am restating that. But they're a business. And I was kind of thinking about it as like, if you're watching football and you know who's going to win the Super Bowl halfway through the season, no one's going to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So they want their title fight in Abu Dhabi, which, unless something goes terribly wrong, unfortunately won't be happening anymore. We'll probably get the constructors fight, but not like world champion fight.
Yeah.
Um, so I do think there were kind of a couple sketchy things that happened with a red flag in qualifying and the safety car in the sprint race,
Yeah.
because Nico was parked right next to the track, and that should have immediately been at least a VSC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, immediately. He was right next he wasn't, like, down in the grass. I'm not going to speak on it too much more, but those were the only two things where I was kind of like,
And like,
that was a little bit sketchy.
as a Lando fan too, like Max got a lot of penalties and grid drops this weekend. And it just felt like over and over again.
I was feeling like, has has the FIA just changed all penalties to be 10 seconds? Because people used to
I
be getting
know.
5-second penalties, and all you gotta
I
all
know.
you
That's what I was trying to figure out too.
didn't do anything. He didn't do
We used to
anything.
have we used to have 5 second penalties, but it felt like they were just dishing out 10 second penalties the whole race. And like you said, in the first one with Ollie, he didn't do anything. Like, he didn't hit anybody. He didn't hit the wall. He swerved. Like, and he got a 10 second penalty for it.
Mm-hmm.
I I get the Oscar and Liam one, but Ollie's didn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Yeah, they've just been pretty interesting in their calls recently. I will agree with.
Okay. And I guess the FIA kind of being a bit of a mess this weekend goes hand in hand with the fine. Lando and George got a
Yes.
$5,000 fine for the aborted start that happened.
Yeah.
Although Yuki Lawson and I can't remember who else was also had the aborted starts.
Mm.
And
I
so
think.
it's like if you don't give it to them all, well, I get it. Lando and George kind of started it. They kind of
Yeah, I mean they're the front too, but
but it's like I don't know. I kind of felt like
yeah, if I was gonna
I feel
say
like they
if
shouldn't have done anything. I feel like they just put it out to try and make fans happy because
yeah,
fans were like, "Oh, they held off giving him a penalty in the raves because blah 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 blah."
yeah,
And it's just like, just don't do anything.
I
Like,
know.
nothing.
But I was grateful that it was just a fine and not like a grid position drop or something
Yeah.
after that insane race. Like, for both George and Lando, like they both, everybody in that race raced so well and raced so hard that like, if I swear if the FIA came out with like any grid drops or anything, I would have been livid. I would have been livid. Like, no. So I'm glad it was just a fine, like, if it had to be anything.
Yeah.
But still,
However,
I
I did
thought
think
it
it was
was
funny
fair.
that they got a $5,000 fine and Charles got a $10,000 fine for swearing. What's more important to the FIA is like proper race procedures or swearing? It's like, okay.
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I thought that I thought that the only reason they got fined for Max got fined for swearing the first time was because it was in Singapore, and Singapore has strict laws about like vulgar language in public settings. Like I thought that was the reason.
Mm.
Is so I'm confused why now Charles is getting fined.
No,
Also,
it's
why is
just
this
the FIA because like kids are watching and they can't censor them like they can the team radios.
okay?
But
But
it's no kids are actually watching that. And if
and
they are,
also
they probably heard those words a couple times before. Like it's not
uh,
that.
and also the fact that it's only been in the past few races that this has happened. Singapore
Yeah.
was the first problem that we've seen with swearing.
It's not like they're like cursing like sailors. Like if they were
Yeah,
cursing like crazy every other word and they're like hold back, I get that.
yeah,
Like be a little bit more respectful than that.
yeah.
But it's like they slip up and say one thing and it's kind of like they're in trouble.
It just yeah. I feel like our passive aggressiveness towards the FIA is going to be so evident in this video. But I mean, who else isn't mad, right? Like I've seen so many people upset about all of the decisions, and then even the drivers association being like set up this weekend because of how ridiculous it was.
This is one thing that all Formula One fans can unite and agree about. And it is just that the FIA is so inconsistent and sometimes they're just inconsistent and they need to they need to straighten things up, iron out the wrinkles a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anywho, now let's actually talk about the sprint race. And the Oscar, I think the main thing was the safety car and then the Oscar Orlando swap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I I understand racing and putting your teammate that's ahead, like prioritizing team orders and all that stuff. I understand all that. But I was a little bit like, really, McLaren? Because they have stated before that they wouldn't swap a race win, an Oscar race win, for prioritizing Lando, but anything like a second and third that they would swap, and they
Hmm.
like that, but they wouldn't swap a race
Okay.
win.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not so. It's just like they say that, and then I saw today that they have also said, well, Norris Championship was never our priority, and it's just like, okay,
Then what
stop
was the
switching.
reason? Yeah. If that's not the reason, if you're not even thinking about prioritizing Lando in the championship for even the possibility, which is not possible anymore, but like even the possibility of it, then why are you switching your drivers? Because either way, you're still getting the points for the constructors championship. Doesn't matter who's in front.
Mhm. And it made me feel a little bit like you should have just not tried to hide the fact that you want Lando to like push Lando as your championship driver because like it is only Oscar's second season and Oscar's a phenomenal driver and he's been
Yeah.
driving amazing. But he's Lando's second in the championship. And like it makes sense to prioritize your driver who's second in the championship. And
Mm-hmm.
like you don't have to beat around the bush
No.
to do that. Like
Yeah, just be
next
upfront
year
about it.
resets and they do the first couple races and if Lando's in front of Oscar, you're going to start prioritizing Lando, and if Oscar's in front of Lando, you're going to start prioritizing Oscar. Like that's how it works. And it was making me think of because I saw a video of Senna the other day and he has said if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. And it's like McLaren, Lando had a chance to really bring the fight to max. And if it's true and they didn't really prioritize that, that's on them. Like,
Yeah, that's all McLaren.
that's a mistake on their part.
Well, that's the thing that we've had problems with is that McLaren is inconsistent. Love you guys. Genuinely love you guys. Want to work for you one day, so please don't hate me. But I'm just saying there are some things that the team itself can work on. And strategy, clearing it up between the drivers before the race, and maybe actually letting them race sometimes instead of swapping positions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll just.
and I did see a lot of people comparing it to, like, well, Oscar owed him one because of the Hungary swap. And, like, sure, but Hungary was a completely different situation. And you
Exactly.
cannot take Hungary out of context.
Mm-mm.
Just like you can't really take this race out of context.
No.
But, yeah. Anyways, I hope that they are more confident next year in the fact that if they want to go for something, that they're 100% on it and not,
Mhm.
like, switching up.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna have to go through these quickly because we're already hitting 33 minutes.
Okay. Speed run. Lewis drove Senna's car. I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't happen. I found out that no one was ever supposed to know it was Lewis.
What?
It was supposed to be all under wraps, and it was just supposed to be like no one knows who's driving, and it's just like a Senna tribute and supposed to almost be like he's out on the track driving. But it like leaked and got out, and everyone knew it was him.
But I
So I
feel like
thought,
it is special that Lewis did it.
yeah, but then there are people like, well, why Lewis? Why? It's like, well, he's 7-time champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's an honorary citizen in Brazil. Like,
Yeah.
those things kind of line up. We already kind of mentioned it, I believe. I couldn't really hear you when you were talking because I was like cutting out. But Rain, some of the
Mm-hmm.
drivers, Max, Charles, Oscar, Ollie,
Ollie.
were all saying that it was not safe and that.
I will say, Oscar does not show a lot of emotion most of the time. He's Kimmy 2.0, right? That
Mhm.
man was audibly terrified on the radio. And he was asking if there was anything that they could do because he was saying like we cannot drive in these conditions. Like I am terrified that we are like all this stuff. Ollie literally said, "I can't see anything. I'm gonna die.
Mhm.
Like I'm worried I'm gonna die.
It was something like, I'm just trying not
I'm
to
trying
die
not to
or
die." Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, like, I felt so bad. He's no longer considered a rookie. He's not going to be a rookie next year. Did you realize that?
Yeah. He's still a rookie in my heart.
I know. Like, how silly is that? Um, Speaking of Ollie, he got penalty points because he did a little bump into Calapinto and didn't affect him at all, affected his own race, and now he has 2 penalty points and got some.
Poor Ollie.
And they're gonna carry over until next year? Is that what I was hearing, right?
Mm.
That doesn't seem right. I don't I don't know about that one. I could have been lied to about that. So if you know better, comment down below and tell us.
Yeah. Oh, Alonzo being in pain.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
poor
that
guy.
audio broke me.
I know. I'm like, oh, he was like, I'm finishing for the mechanics because they worked so hard to fix the car, but I'm in so much pain.
And you could hear it in his voice, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I cannot do this right now.
Mhm. Again, another rumor, this was never confirmed, but I heard that he was also sick.
I
So
think I
like
also
that
did
was
hear that
part of
too.
it too. Like he
Yeah,
was
I think I
sick and then like you could see like all of the drivers were bouncing really bad.
did. Hmm.
And like they were like basketballs out there. Porpoising really bad.
Yeah,
Um
bottoming.
yeah. Um and so it felt really bad for him. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a little video of him after the race and he's just like standing in the car holding on to the halo, just like getting out. And he's just like waiting and waiting and it's He's showing his age there a little bit, to be honest.
My mom goes, "Yeah, he's not like these old 20-year-old drivers. Like he's in his 40s. He can't
Mhm.
snap back as quickly as they can." I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah. So we kind of speed ran through those. Now to the actual Sunday, quali
Mhm.
was pushed till Sunday, which
Crazy.
was I've never seen happen before. I guess the
No.
last one was in 2019, and I wasn't watching Formula One at that point.
Mm.
Um, but I had heard someone say something that the mechanics aren't allowed to make changes to the car
Mm.
on Sunday. So I had thought that, well, if a driver crashes out, like, they're not racing
Yeah.
because the mechanics can't touch the car. But they were able to fix pretty much everyone's cars except for Albon. Albon did not race. But the four other drivers, Stroll, Alonso, Colapinto, and Carlos,
Yes.
were all able to race, except for Carlos had to start from pit lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colapinto raced pretty good with the car that he like after all of that. Like he raced pretty good for most of the race
Hmm.
uh, with all the issues that he had. But
Yeah. And then, yeah, that qualifying session was probably the most insane qualifying session I've seen in my entire life. Guys, if you didn't watch it, 5 red flags. 5 red flags.
mm-hmm.
Getting 1 red flag is
In the
not
quality.
a common
Mm-mm.
occurrence. It
Mm-mm.
happens once, maybe every 8 races, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time, well, I guess maybe not in quali, depending on like the time and stuff, but like a majority of the time you're getting a yellow flag, like safety car, not a red flag. So to
Yeah.
get, I don't know,
Five.
it's yeah.
Yeah. I just still think it's crazy how we had it on Sunday before the race. And they were
Mhm.
saying that the mechanics arrived at track at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Yeah, could
Shout
not,
out, hold
could not
on.
imagine.
Shout out to all of the marshals and the mechanics and all of the team members that showed up this weekend, made the track as safe as possible for our drivers, and made the cars as safe as possible for our drivers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you.
They are amazing.
Yes.
Uh, they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk about the race a little bit?
The race was so intense. Like we have already talked about it most of like the things, but I think some notable takeaways was the fight in the midfield was pretty good. We had a lot of teams that we don't see fighting each other, like overtaking and stuff. I think freaking Franco overtook. It was wait no, it was Liam or Franco that overtook Lewis at some point.
Mm.
Um, and that was interesting. When Max was fighting up the field, nobody fought him except for Charles. Liam like literally moved out of the way whenever Max drove up. Um,
Which, to be honest, I kind of considered as if it was Checo.
yeah.
Because, like, Max passed Checo, start of the race, and,
Mhm.
like, Max doesn't have a teammate to help him out.
No.
So, I did want to comment on this. Because Lawson let Max pass, but people are like, but Lawson is fighting Checo. I'm like, they're fighting over a Red Bull seat.
Yeah, they're fighting
Like,
over Reynolds.
Liam gonna do anything to prove he's a better driver than Checo and that he can work with Max.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. But I genuinely like aside from all of the drama that happened both in like the drivers like get it like the what am I trying to say? Like besides all the drama of the drivers like on track and all of that and everything after, Max Max like his driving was spectacular this weekend. And like him
Mhm.
starting, he was like P17, right?
Yeah.
P17 in the rain, and then all of the crap that happened with the red flag, all the things, like still fighting his way. He got P17 to P11 before all of the crashes started happening.
Yeah.
And then he slowly worked his way up the order after pit stops started happening too. Like, just his drive was spectacular, and I honestly am so proud of him. And that shouldn't go unnoticed this weekend. Like we do need to address like all of the things that did happen and the dangerous aspects of this whole weekend, but he did a wonderful job.
Yeah. He 100% like I mean, you can't just like discredit that.
No.
Like it
No.
was amazing. Uh-huh. He was so happy. I was
I
so happy to
know.
see him so
I
happy.
love seeing Happy Max because that's the one thing I will say. As a McLaren Lando fan, seeing a driver who wins so much kind of like lose their spark whenever they win so much, it's so nice when they're not winning to then if they win, they get so excited. And I love that.
Like
Like celebrate every win.
yeah, when they're like, yes, like I actually my driving earned me that win.
Yeah.
It's it's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Oh my gosh, I forgot what I was gonna say. What are we just talking about?
We were just talking about Sunday.
Max moving up the
Notable.
field. Um. There were how many cars? Stroll crashed at the beginning.
In
Like literally.
the formation lap. Did you see Oscar afterwards?
Formation lap? No.
They were interviewing Oscar after the race and they're asking him like what he thought of it, and he said, "Yeah, a lot of drivers were driving like it was their first time out here, and freaking Stroll drove like he was back in his karting days." Oscar Piastri, the man that you are. I love you.
Um. Okay, so Stroll,
hmm
Carlos,
Yes.
Colapinto.
Colapinto. Did Hulkenberg crash in the race? Or am I thinking of qualifying?
Hulkenberg got disqualified?
Yes, because he hit the wall and then he hit the wall and then he fell like the car fell back down the track and he was
Mhm.
stuck in the middle of the road and they had to have like
Marshall's
a
push.
bunch of marshals come and get him and like try to move the car.
Yeah.
That was part of the red flag. It
Yeah.
was Colapinto and Hulkenberg. So yeah. We had 5 DNFs. Well, 4 DNFs and 1 DNS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that was crazy. Um,
Mm, Yuki Yuki was P3 this weekend. And then he kept his position for most of the race until everything started
until the
happening. Yeah, until the pit stops and the red flag, he was he kept his position.
I'm so proud of him.
I know.
I loved that little group that was like pole position P2 and P3.
Yeah.
The I will never not laugh out loud. The video of them interviewing Bull. And Yuki comes
All right, thanks, George.
in. He's so cute.
That video made me laugh for too long. Too long.
And then it was like they were lined up to take their picture, and it was like stair step, like Yuki, Lando, George. It was so funny.
That's so funny.
But I hope that they celebrated that a lot and that they were really excited with that result. They always say that rain is like the ultimate equalizer. So I think
Yes.
we saw we saw a lot of that this weekend. Especially because we got an Alpine double podium. Like, literally, it's still crazy to say, what the heck? France has been healed. I don't know if France was broken, but France is healed.
The baguettes hugged. That's what I've seen.
Oh, they were so happy, and they were like, they were proud of themselves, and they were proud of each other,
And then the
and like,
team was literally crying during the podium.
I know, I loved seeing them happy together. They posted a picture of them when they were little at the track together.
You know.
And I was like,
Bro.
yeah.
No, that is one thing is I'm always gonna be the number one fan of underdogs winning.
Oh
Like
yeah.
getting podiums, winning, getting points. Like I love seeing people happy. Like it brings me so much joy.
And we had such a happy podium
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
And guys, you didn't get to hear the last episode, but we were talking about someone being on podium
I
who
did.
was,
I said a surprise podium.
yeah. And so we were right.
We were right. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I don't think anything else in the race,
Yeah.
honestly. And if there was, so much else happened that I just cannot remember.
Yeah.
Um,
We're almost at 50 minutes.
oh man. We can cut some things
Yeah,
out.
we can cut some stuff down, but it will probably be around 40 minutes after editing.
Um, oh guys, there's another wasp in the house.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, I did think that post race, really quick before we touch on Lando, Max in the press conference saying, "Where's all the British press? Did they have to go to the airport or could they not find like the press conference?" Was iconic.
Max. Max.
Max Verstappen. Sometimes you do things that I don't necessarily support, but I will never not love you. Like,
Yeah. For real. Oh.
oh man. Yeah. So, anyways, now we'll touch on Lando. I feel like you have more to say about this than I do because you are Lando's your favorite driver. Um, I'll just say, um, this quote that has been taken out of context
Mhm.
is no talent, just luck.
Mhm.
And I 100% Lando, terrible choice of words.
Yes, 100%.
Terrible choice.
100%.
Like he is literally like it's pretty much the same exact interview that he's having in with a different person, and he words it way better, and he is talking about the pit stop like strategy, and he's
Mhm.
talking about just how they made the wrong call, they got screwed over by it. Ferrari also got screwed over by it. Like it was unlucky for like the red flag
His team.
timing
Yeah, yeah.
and the pit stop. And he's also said before that he doesn't like the rule that you can change your tires under a red flag.
Mhm.
I personally
Which a couple of drivers do agree with him on
have gone screwed over a lot in
that.
the
Yeah.
past
Mhm.
by red flag pit stops.
Mhm.
I am in support of keeping that rule because Alpine double podium. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Alpine double podium.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I will let you talk about it now and take the lead.
Um, yeah, I agree. I think that the choice of words was not strong. I also try to give drivers across the board more grace when it comes to like post race interviews because they're still grappling with their result, they're grappling with
Mhm.
the exhaustion of everything and the adrenaline and everything. So that goes for all drivers. So I tend to have more grace across the board whenever they have interviews after that. But yes to everybody that has been taking it out of context, because it's very easy to take out of context because a lot of the motorsport community has been clipping the video of one of the interviews. Um, Lando is not referencing the luck of Max winning. He's, like McKenna said, he's referencing the luck, the talent, no talent, just luck. It's not talent to get a random unpredicted red flag and then pit under it when half the grid had already pitted before the red flag, and then Max and the Alpines get to pit under that. That's not talent, because you can't choose that. You can't strategize that. And that's what he was referencing to. He never actually said Max did not win that with no talent, or it was just luck. And he
I don't
actually even
think
went,
anyone would ever say that about
no, like,
about Max or about either Alpine drivers. Like he would never say about
no.
any driver on the grid. So
Mm-mm.
like to other people who are saying that he's referencing Alpine, also completely like
Yeah,
insane thoughts.
yeah. But he also went further on social media and did congratulate Max and Alpine for the podium. Um, and I will just leave it at that. But I also will say, and this could probably be like a tie-in to like the end of this video or whatever, it is never okay to wish death threats on anyone, no matter where they come from, what they believe in, or what they stand for. That is never okay. There is no room for bullying online because your driver said something about somebody else or had something said about them. These drivers are still humans. They are still human beings who have a heart, a soul, a mind. Like, they're just like you and me. Let's treat them with a little bit more respect.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not saying that you have to
Like them.
particularly like every driver,
No.
but to go so far as to just like absolutely crap on them all the time and on social media is like it's just such a low and like a little bit cowardly thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Mm-hmm. And that goes for not even just drivers, it goes for
Yeah.
across the whole thing. If you're doing this to people in your life, if you're doing this to people that you don't know, it goes across the board.
Hmm.
So it takes more energy to complain about somebody publicly online than it does to just shrug it off and move on.
Yeah. So, I guess end the episode because we've yapped for a really long time.
Yes.
Um, but not on a negative note.
Yeah.
We love all you guys. We hope you stay tuned over these next couple weeks. We have a couple exciting
Mm-hmm.
things coming up. And please let us know your race thoughts respectfully in the comments.
Yes, respectfully.
And that's checkered flag.
Let's check your flag. Bye, guys.